Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be working on a Nissan Altima, diagnosing this cooling system, and we're going to end up changing the water pump, the thermostat, the water cooling valve, some hoses, and the radiator. I've time-stamped the video so you can skip ahead to just watch the parts that you need. Let's get started. The first thing I noticed was evidence of overheating. So apparently after a long drive on the highway, the engine was overheating, and I could see the mess under the hood that had happened. So check the coolant level first. Does it have coolant? Are there leaks? And I'm also looking for a head gasket leak indication. So seeing if there's bubbles coming out of the coolant, and smelling also to see if I smell exhaust. And yeah, I kind of flooded it over there. Whoops, when I jammed the throttle. But I didn't smell anything. So here's what I found in the codes though. Oh man, so I scanned it and sure enough, engine over temperature condition code. And it's also saying coolant thermostat problem. So how does it determine that is the question. Would a head gasket still set that code, or any overheating condition set that code? So let's look up that one. But the engine is definitely seen that it's overheated. The computer has seen that. So that code actually sets when the ECM detects engine temperature has not reached operating temperature, even though the engine has been running a very long time, long enough to be at operating temperature. Possible causes: thermostat malfunction, stuck open, leakage from ceiling portion of thermostat, engine coolant temperature sensor. Well, it might be a good idea to just do what everybody does when they have an overheating thing, is they first change the thermostat it didn't need and the coolant temperature sensor, and then they find out they needed a head gasket. But it is possible that you do have a faulty thermostat, so there's a reason people do that first. All right, engine coolant temperature sensor 91, 92, so that looks good. That looks like it's warmed up, and the one hose was cold and the other was warm when it was warming up, so it looked as if the thermostat, as if it has a thermostat, because people in this country, they pull them out and then it'll set that code because they'd overheat, so they just remove the thermostat. So I'm going to see if the fans are working. I don't know how this one normally looks, but it's not sitting midway though on the dash. I want to get the cooling fans on. I'm going to get this thing hot. 95. 6. We got one fan. And the question is that one only triggered with the AC, or is it also supposed to be triggered? We do have a fan, so it shouldn't really overheat. With the fan on and me revving it, it actually should go down. So this cooling system at the moment appears to be functioning correctly. 94, 95, that's fine. And the fan kicks on and brings it down like it should. Look at the battery spacer on this. You know what that is? There's a Coke can tab. Genius, Mexican ingenuity. So based on the diagnosis, I'm going to change the thermostat and the water control valve. And which one is which, I kept getting them mixed up. But the upper is the water control valve, and it controls flow to the heater core. You see the heater core lines coming out of that housing. And the lower one is the thermostat. It opens at 180 degrees lower than the upper one. The upper one's like 203, 205 when it opens. So you want the 180 on the bottom, and that's what's controlling the engine operating temperature. So remove the air intake pipe and anything else that's in the way. Get it out of the way, and then you can access the bolts and the nuts for the housing here. Another nut down there. Okay, oh, one down there. Wow, that's not good. Why is that so tight? Oh, there it is. All right, I should have this out of the way. I just needed to get a pair of pliers, that's all. bolt. These two are the same length. So the bottom one, this one was from up top. Ooh, let her flow. She's loosey-goosey now. Oh, what was it? I think we can cheat the pipe down. Out. Why they gotta do that? Why would they do that? Just to punish people. So this is what I'm complaining about, this bracket right here that allows you to not be able to easily remove the housing. But you'll see here what I'm able to do to cheat and to wiggle it down without damaging the pipe and to still get it out. Cheated. Oh, you're gonna get me? Oh yeah, we cheated and I like it. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that. What is that? What is this? Something's not right here. Note the direction of this for later. Oh, wow. Uh-huh. Oh my word. That is decrepit. There's no way you're going to be able to flush all that out. It's hardened into the system. Look at the crud in there. Look at the crud in this thing. It's been like, you put, what do? Use ocean water? This is what hard water does that people put in here. And so it's going to be all the way, like that in the block. It's calcified. You can't flush that out, and if it lets go, then you can go through and plug up stuff, like your thermostat and water control valve. So we're going to leave the water control valve out, and I'm going to take a look at the thermostat next. So there's two bolts holding it in here, and here's the exploded view. Seriously, there's no way the system's going to get all this stuff out. Okay, if that's what's here, what's going through the tiny passages of the rad? The rad's got to be plugged up. That's it, the rad is plugged. That's his scenario. So I think we need to pull the rad out. So that's the light bulb moment that we probably have a plugged radiator not allowing enough cooling. So while you're driving on the highway after extended periods of time, it's overheating. Right. And there's the hole. So I stuck the gasket there to kind of try and seal it up, so I can put the pipe back on. So I decided to try and flush the cooling system, so I'm leaving the thermostats out and the water control valve out and just putting the gaskets back and tightening them back up. So here's the 10-minute radiator flush I'm adding directly to the radiator, and then followed by straight water since we're going to be flushing this. Follow the directions on the bottle of whatever flush you get. Some of them are 10 minutes, some of them take a little longer, but most of them are not great for you, so wear safety glasses. You don't want to get that stuff on you or in your eyes. Now we should be able to flush this system without any thermostat. Okay, I got it warmed up a little bit, and the system is now, it's pumped the fluid through everything. So we're going to drain her out. Caution. All right. Ah! Oh, what do you got for me? So remove the lower radiator hose so you can flush all that acid and water out. Fire in the hole. Did I catch any of it? A little bit. Whew. Let her flow. Smoky. Gotta flush this out a little more. Get all that acid out. Gonna reconnect the hose, fill it up again, let it flush through the system a little more. This spill-proof funnel has been really nice to have. I'll leave a link in the description. It's a helpful tool if you're working on your car all the time. So if you do a couple cycles of filling it with water and draining the radiator from that lower hose, you should be able to get all that acid out and be ready to fill or do your next repair. Okay, you know what? We are going to rip out this rad quick. Clippy. Pretend I cut these. That'll work. Okay. We got all these wiring harnesses here. Try not to destroy all that. Squeeze. Squeeze. Oh. No, that does not want to move. There we go. One fan. Ouch, another fan. And there's the wiring. Throw that aside. Rad hose out of the way. 10 mil. We'll be close. I'm going to loosen off here first. All right. Ooh, look at all the movement now. Anything secret down there? Nope. That's it. Fans are loose. Oh yeah, okay. Might be a good time to test those fans. Fans are out. One little hoser. Ah, there it is. Okay, and oh, we got cooling lines for the transmission. And otherwise, other than that, the rad will come out. So just need to loosen these little guys. Get a drain pan there. And that one, I'll try and hold them up so we don't drain the transmission out of everything, but there will be leakage. And this one lifted up to minimize leakage, then radiator can come right out. Well then, send that to the rad cleaner. Okay, I'm going to save you some time. Gates numbers here, a 34160 is the upper, and the lower is a 33941. And also 203 Fahrenheit or 205 is what it says in the book, but that'll be close enough. 95 Celsius is the opening temperature of the upper, and the lower is 180. 180 Fahrenheit, it says down in the hole. So that's another thing to know for the lower. So upper's gonna go upper and lower's gonna go down here. And it was facing like this. Not like this. Does it even go in, or will I hit stuff? Oh, it could go in. Okay, look at this. The long side is supposed to go into the block, into the engine. And when I pulled it out, I pulled out from the little side that was facing in to this manifold here. So this was in backwards. That could have been causing the cooling problem, because this needs to sense the heat. And if it's flipped over on this side, it's going to take a lot longer to get that to open to feel the heat. So I wonder if that's what was causing this heating problem right there. So according to the diagram, the long side needs to go in, and the same with the thermostat. They both go that direction. So in hindsight, because this isn't the engine thermostat, I don't think it was causing major heating problems, but maybe it was related to setting that code in the computer, and also the heater core wouldn't be functioning right, wouldn't be getting coolant at the right time, so it was definitely messing up something being backwards. But it turns out that the radiator was very plugged. Clean the thermostat housing gasket surfaces, get all the crud off of there and any old gasket material without scoring or scratching the metal. That way it will seal up nicely when we put in the new thermostat. Jiggler facing up, help bleed the air out of the system. So the range of the torque for these bolts is anywhere from 16 to 20 foot-pounds. You're fine. So just snug them up so it doesn't leak. So the upper is the water control valve, which does not have the jiggler on this one. So this is the one they sent me that says upper. And typically you'd want that facing straight up. There is no arrow on this thing, is there? There is no up mark. Some thermostats have an up mark, or they'll have the jiggler. This one just has a little hole, so that hole should be facing up so that it will bleed any air out through that hole at all times. So you want to have the hole or the jiggler facing up for both the water control valve and the thermostat. It was a little tricky to get that housing and water control valve lined up together. But once you get that back in and straight, then you'll be able to tighten your bolts and your nuts back in, and you can torque them to 18 pounds is great.
Sí, entonces el jueves.
That one down there is not nice. Hoping I can get away with it. Put a clamp on here. This little hose was bad. It had a little crack in it and was starting to leak, so I'm replacing it here. Nicely. Tighten like that, and then we need enough to go up here, not kink, about there. Roll here. Okay. Wow. All right, the radiator guy said it was a disgusting mess inside. But you can see they actually take this off, clean out every fin, which is amazing. They do that in Mexico. And reseal this. So this one's been cleaned and resealed. And it was dirty, he says. The plastic studs on the bottom of the radiator go into these 2 rubber mounts down on the bottom here. Go to your home. 1, 2. Next, reconnect the transmission lines and tighten them up. Bottom hoser. Don't forget my battery special piece. Okay, they go back into their feet, and then the bolt should line right up. Easy peasy. And these are screws, so we don't want to go crazy on these. Click. Upper radiator hose. Line it up in the groove again if you can. It's nice, tidy like. Okay, we're going to change the water pump next. There's 3 bolts. First, you need to remove the belt, so you need to pull down on the tensioner. It might be a 14. And while you do that, you can put a pin in here.
That'll
I
work.
just used a drill bit to relieve the tension of the belt. Then you can take the belt off. And once your belt's out of the way, then you can remove the 3 bolts for the water pump.
Okay. That's one. Get it on. Good. There we go. That helps to wiggle it on with this pry bar. All right. She's loose. Now, can I get my hand in there? Oh, I can. Okay, 1, 2. Get the coolant bottle out of the way. Drive it right here. Get my hand in here. This one's going to be fun to get back in. I'm going to go in with a magnet. I guess if you pull the alternator, this would really help. You might have to. Got it though. Ta-da! Hi, it looks good. Too bad. I thought it would look way worse. All right, this one does not look too bad.
They say bulb, the circulation, the
Yeah.
escape. Something like that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I was able to shove the wire brush in here and get it cleaned up a little bit. Need to get a little on the top. So this one I could just barely get it to turn, sticking one finger from underneath and then one from above, and I could get it to rotate on. So I can cheat the system. Gasket looks good. Just get my finger right there. So I can pivot, so I can ratchet. Ah, my finger's stuck. This was a mistake. Oh, wow. Really? Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. I can't believe it. I'm stuck. Oh, Lord. Oh. Are you serious? Oh, Lord. Ouch. Okay, so use that with caution with your fat fingers. If you have fat fingers. You're not going to be able to torque these. Just snug them up. Forget that. So an open 12 works good for these bottom ones. Okay. And let's see if it'll fit in here too. It will. an open 12. This fits on everything.
It's funny how you can overcomplicate things the longer you're a mechanic instead of the basics like, hey, just try a box end 12. Oh, that actually works, instead of your wobbles and extensions and all your fancy gear wrenches.
Okay, so here's the parts we changed. The water pump, thermostat and water cooling valve. I forget which one was which at this point. So get the 14 on there. These are nice in this situation. These are really nice. I think you can do it through the fender hole. Oh, almost. I can reach under. I can get at it here. These are the mountain ones. Now I can get it from underneath. Just the basics. One bolt right there. When it spins and spins, that's bad. It means there's no grease left to stop it. We get a plastic one, but the bearing is new. Should be fine. It's the Canadian brand. Yes, Canada. Let's see how it slides on. Ah, there's got to be something, huh? It's touching. It's touching. There's no spacer or anything, right? 6203. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take out the bearing because this pulley does not fit. It just rubs. It's rubbing. That should do it. Now, can I smash it out this side with the socket? Wow, that's easy. One bearing harvested. Now, this guy needs to go out that way. One more. Got to make sure it can actually come out, right? Okay, there's the bearing. Yay, they're the same as they should be. Good. Now I can put in the new one. Let's just get it started here. I totally just pound it in like that. But let's just see here. I'm gonna clap my fingers.
You can usually get away with hammering them in using something else on top, like the old bearing, but the vise is a little more gentle. If you can press it in, is a little better.
Exacto, más o menos. All right. No damage. Good. Seated. And if you want to make sure you can damage it, then this method works fine too. Let's see how it goes on now. Yeah, back to your home. Bearing, pulley, back to your home.
So tighten that bolt in until it stops. And when you keep going, it's going to move the tensioner. Here's the belt routing, because now we're at that stage where you can put the belt back on and remove the pin that you have there. So when you pull some tension on that tensioner, you can take the pin out.
There we go.
At this point, we're ready to fill the coolant and bleed all the air out of the cooling system. So you're going to want to have that radiator cap open for a while you're filling, and start the engine, have it run, and keep topping it up for a little while till it starts to warm up, and then you can put the cap on and let the engine warm up the rest of the way. Squeezing the upper radiator hose can help remove some air. It can help bleed it out faster as it kind of pumps it into the radiator, and then the air can come out.
Look at that. Solid-ish, huh?
So here's what's neat about the spill-proof funnel. You can shove that rod down the middle and you just spill a little bit instead of a lot of bit of your leftover coolant. So there it goes.
Okay. The thermostats, you'll see the bottom one will be cold for a while, but when it thermostat opens, then you'll start to feel the heat in the bottom. And you want to make sure you got both of them opening, and then you know you've got it fully heated up and circulating through.
So I wanted to make sure that that engine fan works, so I heated it up and the fan kicked on. 243,000 miles on this baby, and the temperature looked good, and the customer went on his hour-and-a-half trip that he's had the problems on, and he no longer has any overheating issues, so we have successfully fixed this one. So that's great news.